guess I'll talk to you guys.
All right, George, everybody calm down.
Hello. So I direct REM Labs, which is the Rice Electronic and Computer Music Facility. So some of you may have taken some classes in there with Chapman. And one of the things that we do in there is use spectral analysis quite a bit for editing or for looking at sources and developing compositional materials from sources. But I'm curious if maybe we can just have a conversation a minute about what you think a spectrogram is, and how is it used for you. So who can tell me, what is a spectrogram exactly?
A device that separates and measures elements of sound.
The device that separates and measures. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay. When you say separates, what do you mean?
Separates your core complex sound into individual harmonics.
Okay, good. So we're going to separate a core sound into individual frequencies, which are in some kind of harmonic relationship. Okay. Is that clear to everybody? So when you analyze a core sound, we assume that if you're singing, that those harmonics that you're generating are in a harmonic relationship to the fundamental, right? And if they are not, we get something called inharmonic frequencies, and that would be similar to a noise than a pitch. So when we're analyzing, essentially what the spectrogram does is it allows us to see, so like you're saying, it separates out into the individual components. That's one aspect of it. Then you said measure. What's the other part of that?
Well, doesn't the spectrograph in terms of brightness and as well as the wavelength for some sort of vibrato measure the specific frequency and the loudness of each?
Okay, so there's a lot of information packed in there, so let's take that apart a little bit. So brightness and loudness, what's the relationship between brightness and loudness?
The brighter something is on that like spectrogram, the louder it is. It's like the other axis, it's the decibels.
Okay, so the use of color or brightness will indicate energy at a particular spectrum, right? So as we break the components up into individual parts, we can then see how much energy is at each component by the way that it's coded, whether it's either brightness or color. So brightness in that sense is like white to black, if we were in a black and white spectrogram. In this case, I think it's blue to red, or,
I could set it to either one.
Yeah, so the color spectrum will indicate how much energy is there. But when I say brightness, I'm also talking about timbre. What's the relationship to the brightness of the sound to the energy in the components?
The strength of higher partials.
The strength of higher partials. Would you all agree with that?
No.
I'm not sure.
What does he mean by
I
that?
still have a good feeling.
If high harmonics are strong, we'll have a bright sound, because we
Okay.
perceive bright sounds as ones that have a healthy and strong set of high harmonics.
Okay. In relationship to what, though?
The fundamental.
Okay, in relationship to the fundamental.
Right.
So is that is that statement agreeable by everybody?
Yes.
I
Okay.
suppose you could have them that are too strong, right? Pressed phonation has too narrow a drop off as far as the higher harmonics.
Too narrow a drop off.
Yeah.
That keeps the higher one stronger.
Yeah.
If you're pressed, you're brighter.
So what's amazing about the human voice, and what's so different about it than a typical instrument, is that you guys you actually have two objects that you're using to produce the sound. I mean, you have your vocal folds, the folds themselves, which you are changing constantly, but you also have the tube length, or the actual vocal tract, which can change depending where you place the voice, right? That's something, if you think about like a clarinet, that's impossible. They can't change the tube length of the clarinet unless there's some pieces where maybe you've seen these, where they actually will take a little tube of paper and they'll put it in the bell to extend the clarinet down. And then all of a sudden, you can create lower sounds on the clarinet than you could normally. But that's literally what they do, is they're extending the tube length of the clarinet. With you can actually change the length to some degree, the length of the vocal tract, and at the same time, the source vibration frequency. So you're working with two different components that interact with each other to create your final sound. And so the use of the spectrogram can sometimes be really helpful. This morning, I was just looking over an old article to remind me of some of these topics. And in the article, they mention, for instance, when these are just typical things as humans that we do. If I'm talking to a baby, right, and I'll say, "Oh, you're so cute," blah, blah, blah. And I'm actually shortening sort of the tube length, and I'm raising my voice. Whereas if I'm thinking about something massive, or in the case of this article, they say if you think about Darth Vader, it's like, you're lengthening. And these are just habitual things that we as humans do, but they're so communicative, right? The human voice, we're shaping it constantly, our mechanism, as human beings, and we use this communicatively. But we oftentimes are not even aware of how we're doing it. So what a spectrogram can sometimes do is it gives you visual feedback. A visual feedback mechanism for you to actually become more conscious of how you're producing the sound that you're producing. And that's really probably its greatest strength, and probably why it's used in pedagogy. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So why don't we try a couple of examples, and we'll just see if we can follow the spectrum that's produced, and see what we get. So, turn off the light. So what did you guys want to try?
Well, if we just want to talk about the spectrums a little bit, we can just do like 5-note scales and look at different voices and see like what the differences are.
Could we look at what noise looks like in the spectrogram?
Yeah, totally.
So what did you make from?
I know mine's gonna be long, way more than my Michael, your voice is really fine.
Find out where I am.
So, just so you know, there are many different kinds of noise. Typically, we use white noise as a test, and white noise is really equal energy per unit frequency. And that's pretty much how it's defined. But pink noise is also used for audio tests. And the difference with pink noise is that it's equal energy per unit octave rather than per unit frequency. And so it tends to actually gather more energy in the lower register, and so it sounds a little bit heavier, a little darker. But let's just try and make some noise just with my voice. So pretty much straight across the spectrum, you'll see energy from bottom to top. Most of it's concentrated, though, in this range. So on the left, we've got our frequency values from 0 kilohertz up to, I guess, around 6 kilohertz, 6,000 hertz. Right now, you see most of the energy's focused in this first 1,000 hertz band. Right?
I've got a pointer too if you want.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. That's fancy. How do you, oh, wow. Okay. So this is the 1,000 hertz band from 0 to 1,000 hertz. I'm just curious what is the highest, or what's the range in terms of frequency that you usually sing in? For men or for women? And I guess it depends on altos, tenors, sopranos. What were you going to say?
I was gonna say, I was trying to remember the hertz for the singer's foreman.
That's for the formants, but those are
Formants are different.
formants are actually those are a result of the singing.
High C is probably what, about 1,000 hertz?
Mm-hmm.
So,
1026.
a little
So if you
higher.
think about a tuning A, right? Tuning A is what?
440.
440. So the high A is 880. So around 1,000, just for that high C, And so this first band already is like the highest note that somebody would sing. So we gotta put that into perspective, right? So everything that we're seeing above that is harmonic.
Wow.
So all of your fundamentals are down in this range in this first band. Is there any way we can actually expand so that maybe
Make
this,
it
yeah, so our Y is like,
that one.
oh, I
Is that what you're
see,
asking for?
this is a logarithmic, yeah, that helps us a bit. Okay, so this helps us because in a logarithmic format, this makes more sense to us. So now we're looking at this whole thing as 1,000 hertz from here to here. And then every octave above it. So 1,000 to 2,000 is another octave. And then 2,000 to 4,000 in here would be another octave above that. And then 8,000 would be another octave above that. So now we're looking at something that's a little more useful to us. Let's try making some noise again. Okay, so now you can see more clearly that most of the energy is in from 0 to 500 hertz. And then there seems to be a drop off right here around 5,000 hertz. And then less energy up there. That makes sense. So partly because of my voice, actually somebody, maybe, could you come up here and make some noise? I'm just curious what it looks like for you. And so, oh Chris, oh sorry. So the way we're gonna do this, I'll make noise first, and then you make noise after, and then stop so we can compare the two. You ready? All right. So you notice here in alleys, there seems to be a band of energy sort of missing, and then it comes back again here. So it's almost as if there's something there. That's interesting. I was looking. This is pretty similar. Pretty similar. Let me try one other kind of noise. Let's just imitate me. Stop. Okay. So you can see when it comes to the plosives, right, we're almost identical. So in other words, it's discounting the vocal tract, it's discounting the shape of my head, and the energy is really coming from the way I'm attacking the microphone. We have to remember this is a microphone, so it responds differently than the human ear, right? Usually we would have if you're going to make a lot of plosives, you would have a whisper kind of screen in front of the microphone to prevent it from distorting. But because we're attacking the microphone directly, we're actually creating noise by making a little distortion. Oh, what are you doing?
Did you want the limit on top lower? Is that what you were asking about?
Yeah, well, it's okay. It's actually much better just logarithmically.
Okay,
so
great.
yeah,
I'll just leave it that way.
we can just see a lot more information. Okay, good. So now let's just try something quickly. I'm going to just sing a basic tone. I'm not a singer. You guys, I know you guys. You'll come up and sing in a minute, but this is just for a general. And then you'll just sing one after, and we'll just take a quick look and stop. Okay, great. So evidence of the training is immediate. Okay. So you see the vibrato?
So fast.
And then here's mine, very, very flat. But what do you notice? She pretty much sang what I sang, but an octave higher. All right, so here's my fundamental here around 200, and here's hers around 400.
Yeah.
All right, and so here's what's really great about this. So immediately, we all know about harmonic series. We all know that when we hear a fundamental, we're not hearing one tone, we're hearing a collection of tones. And those tones are all in harmonic relationship. And so here's, with the logarithmic view, we can really see this clearly. Here's my first octave from here to here, and then you see the fifth, and then the second octave, and then the third, the minor third, the smaller minor third, and then we get into the large major second and all of this, all the way up. So you can see like all of my harmonics very, very clearly.
You can
And
see.
here, so you can see here's the first octave for me, and then with Ali we can see here's her first octave right here. And similarly, all the way up. And again, maybe the training comes in because you can see that her harmonics actually extend. They're much more clear, higher than mine. Mine sort of kind of merged together up there.
You can see her formants too.
Yeah, point those out.
Singer's formants.
Where?
Oh, so you see the fundamental frequency at about 350, and then directly above it you see the second formant, and then there are 3 other spots of hot
Right
harmonics,
Oh, okay.
which are the singer's formants.
Yeah.
Okay, so can we just clarify what the difference in color with that? We like Ian referred to them as hot harmonics, but what does that actually translate into?
So,
Is that like
so
amplitude?
these that are yellow are, so it's going, we're going from, this is the most energy where you see orange in there, a little bit of orange. That's really the hottest. And then these are the coolest,
Okay.
right? And so this is the most energy and the least energy.
Energy being amplitude.
Translating to amplitude, yes.
Sweet.
So you're talking about, when you say the formants, I see, which 3 parts are you talking about?
I'm talking about, so
Here?
you've got the fundamental,
Yes.
you've got the first hot harmonic,
Oh, you're talking
and
about
then
this.
3, 4 are right next to each other. 3 is very well situated directly underneath the formant, and then the 4th one is a little weirdly situated because the next 2 harmonics are both a little hot, and then the 5th one's really evident up there in that band of harmonics close together.
This?
Say that again? What?
Say it again.
Yeah, but, and
Oh,
why don't you actually
right.
come up here and use this pointer?
Okay.
Yeah.
That's better, because I'm not really following exactly.
So you can see, like, even though there's sort of a regular distance between the different harmonics, oh gosh, which one is the, like, there it is. There are certain of the harmonics that get amplified, right? And that's because they're underneath the formants, or the natural resonances in the vocal tract, right? So, like, this is slightly louder than the surrounding harmonics because they're underneath her formant 5, right?
I see what you're saying, but you said there were 3 areas, 3 formants, or?
1,
Uh-huh.
2,
Oh, I see.
3, right?
Oh,
The top one is a little less
I see what you're saying.
strong, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, well, I don't, I guess,
There's 2 vowel formants, right?
Right.
Okay, so that's what determines if we say E, A, O, U, whatever that is. And then there's the singer's formant, which is 3 different formants that are clustered together.
Right.
So that one right
That's
there?
on top.
That's the top.
Those are actually 3.
Right, and so then the subsequent, the next 2 lower are the vowel formants.
Yeah.
And the bottom one's loud just because it's the fundamental.
Yes.
Okay, right, okay.
But we'll look at how we can see that easier in a second. too.
yeah, well, all right, so let's try some of your examples that you wanted to try.
Okay, so I just wanted you guys to sing like a 5-note scale just with your voice so we can see what your different voices look like on the spectrograph, okay? Can we do that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, would you want to go first, Michael?
What was that?
Yeah, like,
Like,
high, brittle.
Does the, does your voice quality change with the hat on? I was just,
Okay, so why don't we do it on,
Yeah.
so do like E, but a little bit different.
Where? No, any note?
What note do you want to sing?
I don't know.
something in the.
Something low?
Like middle-ish? Can we do
middle of the
like,
register, let's try that.
let's
first.
do like E.
E.
Okay,
Cool.
now, stop that. So that's like a really clear formant right there.
Yep.
That's
the same.
Single inches.
And here, you see some energy. So look at that. This is like between, in this band, between around 2,000 to 3,000 hertz. So think about an orchestra a minute. Like what's the highest hertz value that an orchestral instrument would play?
550.
Triangle is the highest, right?
Well, sure, but let's say like one that can produce a fundamental frequency.
It's like 550.
550? No,
Well, that's
it'd be
where-
higher than that.
Okay, so when I had that number, that's where most of the energy is in orchestras.
Here's
So-
440,
Right.
so we're up to 880, and now we're getting up to a flute. That'd be around 16, 17, 60. And so here's a piano, 32, 33. So you're talking about your formant frequency is actually extends beyond the range of most of the instruments in the orchestra.
Which is why we can be heard over
Which
this.
is why you can cut through an orchestra. Right, exactly. All right, so let's try that again. Can you do something a little higher so you're straining, not straining, but like you're working a little bit more?
Yeah.
I'm just curious to see what that looks like in comparison to this. Oh, so start with the original one and then do one a little higher.
Okay.
Wait a sec, let's start over again.
Tank it up here. That was not that pitch, thank you.
Okay, why don't you start like a.
Can we not do a 5-note scale? Can we do something a little longer?
Yeah, do you want to do like that? Well, no, because I wanted to see the difference between what it's like when it's low and what it's like when it's high.
Just sing Owen Taser.
No, no, do like E
E and
and then do
A.
like B to F. Can you do that? Okay.
Yeah.
So this is E.
Yeah.
Okay. Wait until it's like this. Oh, it keeps going. Sorry.
Yeah,
Okay,
we'll just
go ahead.
keep rolling. Great, that's beautiful. So look at that. So you can see that the formant is fixed, right? Even though we see this motion in the frequencies as they rise.
That's pretty amazing.
That's really beautiful. And what's really amazing with your voice is how clear these harmonics are. Look at I mean, there's like no energy whatsoever, like between those particles. Right, so that really clears up the timbre of the voice.
So what does a different vowel look like? Like a close
Yeah, so let's try one.
Like ah. Try that one.
Distance between the formants.
Good. So what's the difference between those?
Could you do, here's what you should try. So we can go back and
On any
forth.
pitch?
Just same pitch.
Sure. Wow.
Oh, yeah.
So you can see how that cleans up when it gets to the E. And then the ahs are much more broadband. Yeah. Formant, look at the relationship of the formant, how it expands there with the E's. So open, and then it's
So
broader
the
again.
E has a lot higher formant. Or there's a lot.
It's a broader band in this first range, but look up above. So this is the area up really high. So E. So you see this motion from here up to here, back down to here, and up to here. So, yeah, that's really strong.
So E is like optimal for me for cutting over an orchestra.
For sure. I think everybody would say that the E sound is a brighter sound.
Can we see what an A looks like?
Sure. Try
So-
E.
Yeah, and remember that, like, so when you're singing with male voices, usually they want us to sing the close vowels up top. It's because of this, because it goes over the orchestra part for the high
Sometimes
A.
why?
What do you notice about that when you look at the spectrogram?
It E loses it.
A is where it's at.
A is, yeah,
It is very.
You see how there's a lot of energy here for This is in like the
yeah, it looks like there's a weirdly placed formant in A. Is that the second formant way up there before the singer's formants?
At like 1800?
15,
1500?
yeah, somewhere in there, between 1 and 2000. There's like one band on the second
In the
one.
middle vowel.
Here, this
Yeah.
is the A.
Yeah, so that's actually your second vowel formant.
Oh, it's just really high. And oh, and E, it's joined, it's close to the singer's form.
Yeah.
It gets higher and higher the further apart.
Chris,
Okay.
what would it,
Oh.
could you like tell me some like bad technique things to do, like while I'm singing, like collapse my soft palate or something?
We'll do that at the end, okay? Do you want to try a different voice?
Maybe, or let's try one more vowel, so like a oi, like a kind of diphthong.
Yeah.
Oh, mixed vowel or like diphthong? Oh,
Right,
diphthong is too pure.
Do you like oi? Try that.
Oi!
Can you do it longer?
Yeah, so we see
Oi.
the transition.
Oh yeah, it's like.
It's good though.
And here, so look right there, you see that moving up just like that? That's its transition.
That's awesome.
That's the second vowel formant, right? Because it goes, it's higher on the
That
E.
is cool.
Probably because I hit a little bit of A in there.
And
Well, A has a high one too.
we see slightly more noise when he transitions to the E at around 400, right? Because the E,
Right.
the second or the first formant has moved slightly, so it's less perfectly, the harmonic is less perfectly situated underneath the vowel formant, right?
Right.
Okay.
Look at this band of energy too through this transition, where it goes up. See, that's really high. Look, that's like in the range of 5 to 10,000 hertz, and it's a sound that you wouldn't place as a fundamental if you heard it. I mean, I don't know if you've ever heard pitches that high in computer music studios. We make them all the time, but it's something that's really adding to the effect of this transition. It's like an effect that you're listening to, but you're not really aware of.
If you EQ'd out 5,000 and up, it would sound weird.
Yeah, I don't know if you could do that. Actually, can you do that on this program?
Not on this program, I don't think.
Can you just cut that out, like if you select it and just,
Let me see.
oh, we can't play back though, right?
No.
Okay, all right, that's fine.
Sorry.
Yes, it
I know
would,
you
it would
keep-
sound
you can do it.
canned. It would sound kind of compressed. The space would sound compressed. Okay, let's try another singer.
Tenori.
John.
Kevin. Yes.
Oh, I can record.
Hope there's nothing.
I don't think I can copy.
Okay, so what did you want to try? What else did you have on your list of things to try?
So we talked about amplitude and legato. Let's talk about legato. So could you try singing something like really legato? Like, do you know Carl Mewben? So remember when I did it in class?
Okay.
Just do it like that and then do it not legato. Good. So that's pretty legato. So when we see, so now we have consonants in there, right? Yeah. And so if you know, like this is is right there, right? And then when you rolled your R was this, and me oh ben, because you don't have any vibrato when you're singing me, right?
Right.
Yeah. That's cool. You want? Let's try it again.
Do you want to now look at this?
Yeah, just take a look at it again.
Look at it.
Just so we can look at it again. So we see like what this one likes. So pay attention to how the consonants go through there. Okay. Good.
Yes.
So you think that that one was probably more legato, right? Because it wasn't as long with your R's and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, technically. Yeah.
Okay.
That's cool. Now try and do it like totally not legato. Okay.
Okay.
I like that one.
That's the sound.
Yeah, totally. And we've all heard like high schoolers sing like that, right?
I think it needs more breath.
It's hard with that.
High schoolers.
Cool. And did you see how when you started like ro, you actually like went up to the pitch there? You like scooted up a little bit because you weren't on your vibrato. Okay, cool, huh? Do you want to try and do some of the 5-note scale things like we were having Michael do? Yeah. And see what that looks like in your voice?
The longer scale.
That would be interesting.
Cool.
To the net.
Good, so, exactly. Good, so like he has a strong singing form right here too, right?
It'd be interesting to actually compare the two of them.
Yeah. Do you guys want to compare?
Yeah.
Let's try it.
Pro fishers?
Oh, you got so much more energy, dude.
Cool. So what kind of differences do you see?
Joey has like way more energy than mine.
What's this, Chris?
Faster
What is this stuff, like, below all of that, like
Like
Joey's
on
has the
Joey's
green
part.
down below Joey's?
That's that's just noise that's being generated. I'm not sure why though. Yeah, I'm not sure why when he sings there's more noise generated than when you sing.
Probably means a proportion of air escaping from the vocal folds without phonation, right?
Maybe.
Oh,
Guys, let's try to get.
Are they
Let's.
the same distance from the microphone?
Let me see if I can enable this playback thing.
Oh, that's all right.
Smart.
I don't know anything about both of those, but I do know a lot about it.
Just
I gotta save it. Okay, let's just try you guys again. And let's listen to them sing and see if we can hear what it is. Okay? So something else, it's really important that you're the same distance from the microphone. Right, yeah, okay. Because remember, what happens when you're like half a distance between a sound source?
Sounds 6,000 times.
6,000. Well, it gets twice as loud, right?
Times two.
So if you like have to, if you get twice as close to an object, it's twice as loud. So if Michael is closer to the microphone than Joey, his performance are gonna sound, or his sound's gonna sound louder. Good.
Yeah.
Let's try again.
Hold on one second. I got an idea here. No, just stand where you're gonna stand.
Good idea.
Okay.
I knew it on the center.
Good job.
Now we'll see how much difference it is. I think part of the reason that we saw all the energy low because he was just much closer to the microphone.
Right.
And so it was generating more noise.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they look really similar, but there's different things you can notice about them, right? So the vibrato sounds different, right?
And it is different.
And it is different on here. So Michael's is a little bit narrower,
Yeah, I got that floater.
which is, there's nothing wrong with that, right? That's just part of our voice. And so Joey has it more here. And we can actually see changes in intensity would be in different places because they're different voice types, right? Because they have different length of what their tubes are.
I'm interested in what happens up above 5,000 hertz, actually.
This stuff?
You can see that in the first case, the voice is a little, the harmonics are more articulated than in the second.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, why is it that mine above 5,000 is like, you know, it looks really different?
Yeah. Well, let's listen to them again. Do it one more time. Let's see. Yeah.
I think I have an idea what it is. Do you guys have any idea? Do you remember when we talked about the difference between Pavarotti and Domingo?
Tracking different formats.
Not that difference.
One primarily in the vowel form and one primarily in the singer form.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like the way they approach, like their technique.
right. So one has like a brighter timbre or one has like a loftier timbre,
Definitely.
the darker?
And I wonder if there's any relationship to the vibrato change between one and the other in relationship to what happens up there. Like, is it possible for you to make your vibrato smaller?
Yeah.
And I'm just curious if you did, if that would affect what
Okay.
happens up there.
Yeah, I can try.
Because the energy, I feel, is being taken away to create that,
Yeah.
whereas if it's smaller, there's more energy to distribute across the entire spectrum.
Would you like a different valve?
Just try, I'm
No,
just
it's
curious.
fine.
Just try it once.
Let's just try it. No try to it?
A
Try
narrow
the
vibrato.
same place.
Yeah.
Go to the same
Let's
place.
just see what happens. It might just-
Yeah, let's just see it. And now with your normal vibrato?
Okay, sorry.
Oh.
Good, now do it with a faster vibrato.
Oh, so actually, yeah, it's about the same. Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty similar.
It's not different at all.
Wait, what if he just held a, what if instead of doing a scale, he just like held a tone?
Just a straight tone.
Yeah, and then
Yeah,
changed
try-
the vibrato.
let's try that. Let's try a straight tone in a vibrato.
Can I crack in there and see what
Can I-
it's? Oh, sorry.
Can we hear
Straight.
crack in there?
Yeah, let's do that after we talk about this stuff.
Try a straight tone and then a vibrato.
And then a
So like
vibrato.
hold the tone and then.
Same 5-note scale on a vibrato. Or without vibrato.
Just sing like.
Okay.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Interesting.
That is interesting.
Could you try to do it louder?
Yeah, sure.
Sorry.
I'm having trouble making that note loud. Okay.
Do a higher note,
Yeah.
like up a third or 4%. There you
So
go.
once the vibrato stops, there's a lot more articulation up above.
But then what did his voice sound like when he was singing straight tone then? Was it brighter or loftier than it was before?
Right.
Right. Because there was more articulation up in here, right?
Can I give that a shot?
Yeah,
Should
sure.
we do that next? Should we do that next week?
Oh, okay.
That goes.
Yeah, let's try. Oh, shoot. Sorry. Okay, so that was Michael's. It's not, it's gonna redo it.
Goodness.
Goodness.
Goodness gracious.
This is looking more similar now. You know. I would say that the biggest difference between that is that Joey has a more loftier voice than Michael does. And that might be why we get that articulation differently. Do you know what I mean?
I don't understand your use of the word lofty. Can you can you say that in a scientific way?
So, Joey sounds more like James Earl Jones than Kristen Chenoweth.
I disagree.
Tiny blonde woman.
Whereas, we listened to her in the first class, right? She was the one singing Carl Milben on Letterman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like Michael's song.
Right, which is just, so that's a spectrum. Remember, you guys, we talked about comparing the voices, and that's just like where they stay on there, right? And so it doesn't mean that one's right or wrong. It's just, you know? So I think, and there's, yeah, it sounds beautiful.
How do low range notes versus, or like how does like range affect what we're singing up here? Like this is more like in the middle top of mine, like what lower than the.
Well, so your voice type affects where your formants are, right? Especially with the vowel ones, which we'll look at some. All right, should we try some ladies?
Yeah,
Ladies!
Good job, boys.
Are we going together? Together? Sorry. Team exercise.
I love this dress. Love that.
Do you want I get this? All right, let's do a 5-note scale, like F or something.
Okay. Come on.
So like middle-ish, right?
Okay.
Just let's do it on A. Okay.
Oh, I hate that vowel. Okay.
We'll do it on E. Okay.
Okay.
Then we'll do it on A. fundamental is higher than what the guys' were, right? Because it's up like an octave, and then we see there's more space in between the harmonics because they're farther apart, up higher like that, right?
Fewer of them, too.
Yep.
So do you wanna compare a guy and a girl? Directly.
Let's show you how. Cool. Do you guys want to do it back to back now?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Like the guys were doing. Cool.
So what would explain their timbres being so different, but otherwise there's, looks like they're, it's pretty similar up there.
Mm-hmm.
No, not actually.
Nope.
Look at here. Right? How would you describe the timbre being different? Or
I would
what's the
describe
difference?
Anne Marie's timbre as being much, I would say,
Darker.
yeah, darker.
Okay, this is here, right?
No,
That's
that's
This
Alex.
is Ali's? Okay, can we try it again? One more time.
Checking.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And you would say, whose is darker?
I would say Anne Marie's is much darker timbre.
Does it have anything to do because
I think they're pretty close, actually.
I don't, that's funny, I don't hear it that way. Maybe
But
my
is it
word.
different?
So like one really sounds like a,
Yeah.
I would say Anne Marie is loftier, not necessarily darker.
she said one really.
But they're also, they're not like, they're not very big extremes.
Yeah.
Like if we could get Nadia to come do it.
Does it affect it though because Anne Marie's taller, so her mouth is actually kind of closer to the microphone?
Well,
than Allie's?
this comes back to what we were saying earlier, because you were saying if the sound is brighter, there's more energy in the upper partials.
Right.
What I was hearing was the first voice had much more energy in the upper partials, and I would say that was brighter, but you're saying it's darker.
I guess what I'm saying is one clearly sounds like a mezzo, one sounds like a high soprano. In the timbre of their voice,
Mhm.
even though it looks like their energy and like their,
Because what I notice here is there's a lot more energy here
okay.
than there is here.
So,
Would we be able to like see in the graph the difference between like a sound that's more covered? Like is that always the same thing as being loftier?
No,
Okay, so
we'll
so
talk
like,
about that when we talk about registration.
well
So I
that's the
guess-
biggest difference that I hear in the voices, and I'm wondering if that would ever show up on this.
I guess what I'm trying to ask in a simpler way is, it looks like one of these is going to cut way further and easier and more consistently over an orchestra or something, and one of them is not, but I want to know
I
about.
think that's a function of the fact that
Color.
Anne Marie's voice is a good fourth lower than
Yeah,
Alex, but they sang the same
same
pitch.
Right. I guess what I want to know is like, how can we see color like this? You know, like the color of a voice, timbre, on a graph. Does that show up?
Well, color is the result of each of the components adding together to create that core sound, what we were talking about earlier, right? If you look here, actually, if you compare the actual harmonics, like there seems to be more energy in these harmonics than in these harmonics. You see that?
Yeah,
Like, you see how much brighter this one is than this one?
yes. Yes.
Yeah, and so I see like a lot more energy here, and I think maybe you're right, maybe this is in relationship to the range of the voices,
Mm.
right? So what's your typical range?
Like,
Are you singing higher up in your voice than Ollie?
yeah, I am.
Yeah, and so you're actually, so you're working a little more up there. Well, you know what, I mean, this is normal.
So could we see
It's
like,
louder.
could we see Al like?
Yeah.
It's
we see Al
louder
like
because
a-
it's higher in
Yeah.
your
Right.
range.
Right.
And that's, I think, what we're seeing. I
Could we
don't,
see Al like a fifth up or something? Or like,
yeah, maybe we should try that. So,
I know you sing at 7:30. Come on.
well, the question would be, so like, what would be the interval that would be an equivalent for her voice to yours? I don't know.
What's the
How much
major
higher
one?
would you say?
Let's do like a fourth.
Okay, can we do them both again? So-
Together?
No, first you and then you from here.
Can we start at like F?
Okay.
On an A?
What do you want to do? E? Or A?
Oh, should we do E? Okay,
E's fine. That's
So
fine.
you're gonna do E and she'll do A.
okay.
This is you.
Wait. Okay.
Wow.
Now, if you could do them a little more quickly so we could actually compare.
Can you do them faster, or do you want me to make it long?
Yeah, no.
Okay. So that we can have them both on the,
Oh, okay.
the screen at the same time.
Okay.
Alright.
Yep. Very simple.
So now they're much more similar, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool.
So the register of the voice has a huge impact on the quality or timbre of the sound, right?
Wow.
Right, because if your formants are higher, then you're singing higher notes, you get the harmonics in your formants more right. Do you know what I mean? That's why we have louder and higher pitches. Cool. All right. I wanted to try some of the diction stuff. Can we do some diction things? Okay, let's Italian words with double consonants.
Pavarotti.
Awesome. All right. So can we sing his name?
Yeah.
And then just like on one pitch.
It's for Jack.
That stop though.
I know. But look how long that double T is. Right? Super, super long. It's like as long as the E at the end of the name. Right? That's why we say like we have to make them like eighth notes before the beats, right? If we make them rhythmic. Cool. Do you want to try to do that?
Sure.
See how it looks in your voice?
Sing it. Yes.
Awesome. So that was about the same thing. Good. Cool. All right. Let's do some other stuff. Oh, can we do onsets and offsets with you guys?
Oh, God, yeah.
All right, Ellie, could you do one that's like really aspirate? Like go like, ah. Okay.
Is that?
Kind of. Can you make like more air, less H? Good.
No, noise disappears as our chords come together.
Right. Why does that happen?
Less air escaping.
Right, and there's less interruption of the harmonics happening, right? So because it's going from more aperiodic into periodic sound, we get something that actually has harmonics in it.
So I think maybe, could we try that one more time? I'd like her to come a little closer to the mic now because
Oh, sure.
we get
A lot more.
You can lower it down.
No, this is a huge.
Oh, it was good. Oh. I'll hold it. I got it.
I guess I wanted to screw it. Alright, you got it? Let's try it.
Yeah, now you see more of it.
Mhm. Cool. Yeah, okay, so then if we wanted to like measure differences between the vibratos, or no, we wanted to do hard onsets next, right? Okay, so that was aspirate, there's lots of noise in it, right? Could you do a hard one, Henry? It's like really hard, like blotto, like,
Like,
and syncopate. It's like,
okay, all right. I'm not sure.
Yep.
Oh! I literally
Yes.
can't do it. I'm literally having a really hard time.
You are Renee.
Oh!
That was right.
Oh,
Just
okay.
do it again so we can hear it like clearly.
Oh!
I love the scoop.
Right, so we can hear that. And then we can also can you just do it without the scoop.
Okay.
So not really playing. It's like oh.
Wait. Okay. I
We want you to hemorrhage, right?
Yeah, we want you to.
Just a little bit.
Oh! No?
No, that was fine. Okay, good. So you remember how we talked about there's two ways you can sing straight tone, right? They're what? It's breathy or pressed, right? And so if she's like trying really hard to go, oh, she's singing straight tone before she sings vibrato, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. All right, cool. I want to try and compare you guys' vibratos, okay? Just for fun.
I'm over here like Carolee Carmella, like.
Okay, so I changed it so it's like 3 seconds long on here now instead of 11. So it's going way faster, and I just want to, we can go and measure it, okay? So can you just sing like an ah on a note? Cool. So if we went and measured it,
So this is 16.
yeah,
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, from
Yeah.
between 8 and 9.
which would be fast or slow?
Nice.
Fast. Would you say your vibrato's fast?
Definitely.
Yeah, totally, right? Alright, can we try it? Well, and the other thing we can see is how wide it is too, right?
Oh.
So we don't have it set super clearly for that, but we'll see when we compare them, okay?
Oh.
So we got
It's not very.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
6?
And 6 and 7.
Yeah. So it's like 2 cycles slower, right? Which I would say that that's probably what we hear, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Could you try and sing like a super slow one?
Okay.
Like,
Oh yeah. Like no technique one?
yeah,
Okay.
like old man in church choir. Good, so we got about like 1.5 cycles per
Wow, look how wide that is.
That's just dirt. I don't know, like, singer's one is pretty far.
Yeah, singer's one is still bright.
We're still ringing.
Awesome. Cool. Then can we okay, that's all I wanted to do. Could we try nasal and non-nasal thing? Could we have Joey and Michael do it again?
Yeah.
If you don't mind.
Yes.
Sorry, guys. That was good.
Thank you.
Good job.
I want to measure my vibrato.
We can do that if you want.
That's cool.
Okay. Let's do the vibrato thing because we might be able to see it differently too, right? For the different voices. Joey?
I'd rather be closer. Sorry, let's go.
No, just stand where you were. All that matters is that you're at the same spot. So first.
So we got 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I'm feeling self-conscious.
Yeah.
4, 5, 6. 6.
Yep.
6%.
All right, let's try Michael.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Between 6 and 7.
So faster, right?
What's yours?
Yes.
You're faster.
A little bit. I'm not sure. Nothing wrong with that. It's just part of what your voice is,
Yeah.
right? Cool. So then when we sing scales, you guys, we actually sing them on our vibrato pitches, right? Can you try and sing like a 9-note scale? Just, and we'll see like how you can see it in its vibrato. Okay. So fast enough that it's in your vibrato.
Go.
Cool. So you see how you can see. Well, each pitch changed on its vibrato, right?
Oh yeah. Sorry.
Oh.
This
Because
is
we get-
interesting to me. If you look here, You see that coming in? And then going out?
He's putting one cycle on each pitch, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is when you hear like Warren Jones talk about how you're supposed to sing, play with the singer's vibrato. That's what he's talking about. Because you can find a lot of tempo in your vibrato. Yeah. And we get this because he goes, and the harmonic, his first harmonic goes into the formant of the ah vowel he was singing, right? That's why we hear it louder there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Good. Because we can see things like if you go and you speak in fritone and just go like, ah, hey. Try that, and we can see where your formants are a little bit better.
Oh, shit.
Okay. Right, so we can see because when we speak in fritone, there's more noise, right? So we get more of the harmonics that just like all over the place. So we can really see those two different. Can I use the?
Your email needs some
The
work.
different. Well, we see the different. So this is the first vowel formant, right?
Oh, wow.
And that's the second one.
That's scary.
It's just a place in his voice where there's no sound.
Well, it just didn't pick it up. Cool. All right, let's try the nasal, non-nasal thing. So can you sing like an O, like O, and then go O, O? Let's see what it does to the spectrum.
Like pretend I'm French.
Yep.
Wow. Bye.
So when do we see a change in there?
Goodbye to the other sound.
Less
That's
energy,
less
just very
less.
tough sound.
Oh, up here, right? So why does the nasal one have less?
Not going outside of the face, it's staying in.
Yeah, because it's getting dampened off, right? Because it's adding like a whole nother part of the resonator to it. It's like taking a clarinet and like adding a second clarinet next to it. Something, right? Cool? Make sense? Awesome. Okay, now I want to talk about the difference between like the tight and not tight vowels. You know, do your teachers ever talk to you about that you're not supposed to sing like E, but E, right? Can we try and do some of those? Becca? Alright, go for it, Michael. Let me make it.
I'm not sure what I'm doing.
Oh. Can we make, okay, I want you to do a vowel that's like really tight and one that's not. So I want you to go E and E. Like that? Sure.
Really quiet.
Also the straight tone.
Okay, so we see the difference in energy right here, right?
Right.
So this one has a lot more resonance, and we see the rest of it in the energy down here too. Rather than it being like E, A, like super closed vowels, right? Don't resonate. Okay? Awesome. Then, Joey, can you try to like sing the same vowel but sing it like very bright and then sing it really back? Do you know what I mean? So like singing like oh, oh, like that kind of thing. Oh, can you like swallow it more when you go back?
Yeah.
Oh,
Like really
you know, like Sam Raimi, that thing. Oh.
Loses a lot of that.
Okay, let's see all that about, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Make sense, guys? Is there anything else? Does anybody else want to try something?
I think,
I wanna
Chris,
try.
could you
Could we-
try doing the overtone singing, like the like
Oh,
that stuff? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we want to try.
Oh yeah, we want to see.
Okay, we'll let you do it. Okay, who wants to do overtone singing?
You.
Jack does.
What's that?
Yours is really
Jack
good.
wants to do it?
Oh, like that thing?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'll try.
It's easier with low voices.
What is the?
Oh, low voice?
What is the?
Okay,
What is the guy?
Rose is good. Chris is good at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's really good at it.
It's like a whole. It's really nice.
Chris,
That was
do it.
good. Not as whistle.
You want me to do it?
Yeah, you're good at it.
Yeah.
You're good at it.
Do you want me
He's
to?
really good. Tom and I want to see who's loud. Wait, I want to do that too. I want to do that.
The ranch one's the best test.
Yes. The ranch house. That's really good.
So if we try.
That's
Wow.
That's so
So which-
cool.
So which vowel format am I changing when I do that?
Singers.
Mm.
No,
First,
I
second.
don't understand the question.
Second one. The vowel format, because I'm going from like E to A. See how it sounds like it goes between E and U?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Because I'm changing where my tongue position is. So then if I change the opening of the front of my mouth, I actually change the first format. Well, wait, that's two. Let me try higher pitch. So you can see how you can see this intensity change?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because this is the first format. Okay. So that's where we're getting from. Cool. Alright, what does Stanley Jack want to try?
And mine.
The ranch wants to
I
try.
see.
We want to see who's louder on a certain note. And,
Oh my god. Oh no.
That was like.
What have we descended
we
into?
have our hypotheses, but we.
Let's
So it's
try.
obviously mixed, so.
By a large margin.
Squeeze your butt.
Can you play audio off of that? Like,
Can I leave before you guys pull your fingers
No, there's a,
yeah, there's something I'd love to do.
Sorry about
Play
your
with people, but
oh my god, this is.
Sure.
I have to go like their main
Ian.
Testosterone!
Ian, you want to try?
Ian should get
Ian should get in on this.
Yeah.
Yeah! What are we doing? Is that F?
Yeah, give it like a lead.
An E?
Lee.
That's just like,
That's
whatever vowel you want.
Because he's a romantic.
We do like E flat on off, so we don't have to like be in that.
Okay. Just do whatever you think is loud.
So you guys want E
We're running out of
flat?
time. So we got.
Okay, that's E flat.
yes.
Oh!
Next.
Dude, look at you up in the middle.
I'll say I think Tommy has the hottest second and singer's format.
Oh yeah.
But I feel like the first format is similar. For
And look at Tommy at like 7,500 too.
That's
What do you
true.
mean?
What happened with the Tom's harmonics?
Okay, guys. Cool.
He's nothing if not hot.
Congratulations. Okay, guys. So could we thank Professor Stallman for coming in?
I'm gonna send Chris a couple of links that I want you guys to hear. One is somebody who's really good at this singing counterpoint with himself. And the other is, I don't know if you've ever seen the talking piano, but some researchers in Germany actually made a piano, they transcribed voice for piano so that the formants would be created by the piano. So when you're listening to the piano, you can actually hear it talking.
Wow.
I thought it's just sort of a fun
That's
thing.
awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, that is really cool.
Yeah, we'll look at those.
Okay.
Cool.
Hey.
All right, guys. So for next week, we have a quiz, right? On Tuesday?
Right.
Okay. We're all clear about what's on that. Okay, remember when I asked you review questions at the beginning of class?
Yeah.
I'm writing the quiz from all of those things I asked you. Okay?
So would it help to look at like the questions at the end of each chapter, or no?
No.
Okay.
Because there's things in the book that I didn't talk about.
Okay.
Because there's things that we don't have time to, and I would rather spend the time talking about like exactly what a form is and doing demonstrations like this. I thought was more helpful than sitting down and doing more math. Right? Okay.
Agreed.
So it's just like the review things that I asked you at the beginning of class, okay? And if you want to look at those, the links to the videos from class are all on the YouTube. On the YouTube. Now it's not.
Oh, yeah.
It's happening. So you can look at like the first beginning.
Wait, is this an Owlspace?
No, they're on the Google Drive. There's a link in there. Okay.
Cool.
So we can do that. That'll all be on there. And then the homework. So you guys can do. These programs are on Google Drive too, so you can download them from on your computer and look at them just like we can. Yeah, only if it's PC. However, you can also download apps for your phone to do this too.
Cool.
Okay. So I just want you. I have a handout to do all this stuff, and so I just want you to play with it somehow. Okay. So if you have a smartphone, you can download like the Spectrogram app. There's a million of them. There's also the Power Spectrum, which was the other one that we looked at some. Do you guys remember that one? That looks like the wave. That takes the instant time one. And so just look at those things when you're practicing or something and just do it. So this is like totally an honor code thing that you don't have to write anything about it. I just want you guys to try it with your own voice so you can see what it sounds like. Okay, cool. Here's the handouts, the links, whatever, if you want. Okay. So we'll have a quiz actually at the end of class. It'll probably only be like 30 or 40 minutes. And we're gonna spend the beginning of class starting to talk about anatomy and how we like name where different things are in our body. Okay? Sounds good? Yeah.
Alright.
If you don't need it. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Chris.